I have 30 Bible verses that I want to read to you about simplifying, and here we go. Verse 1 is going to be Matthew 6:19 through 21. It says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where the moths and the vermin do not destroy, and where the thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Takeaway from this is focus on spiritual wealth rather than material possession. Temporal. Simplicity means prioritizing eternal values over earthly ones. 2. Luke 12:15. Then he said to them, "Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions." Takeaway: life's value is not measured by how much we owe. Simply guarding against greed and focusing on what truly matters. Let me see if I can lay this here so I'm not constantly shaking all over with this thing. 1 Timothy 6 and verses 6 through 8. "But godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that." Takeaway: contentment with basic needs leads to true gain. Simplicity is found in godliness and satisfaction with less. Philippians 4:11 through 12. "I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want." Contentment transcends circumstances. Simplicity involves learning to be content in all situations, is the takeaway. Then Hebrews 13:5. "Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have. Because God has said, 'Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you.'" The takeaway: trust in God's provision, and that's going to lead to freedom from materialism. Simplify by letting go of the pursuit of money. Proverbs 15:16 says, "Better a little with the fear of the Lord than great wealth with turmoil." A takeaway here is a simple life with reverence for God is preferable to wealth with stress. Simplicity brings peace. Take a look at Ecclesiastes 5, verse 10. "Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless." Takeaway: the pursuit of wealth is, it's unsatisfying. Simplify by understanding that more is not always better. Everything you buy is just going to cost you not just money, but time as well. So that's something we never get to spend twice, is our time. Okay, Matthew 6:33. "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be gave to you as well." Takeaway: prioritize spiritual pursuits over temporary ones. And necessity will follow. Simplicity is about seeking God first. Luke 12, verses 22 and 23. "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you eat, or about your body, what you will wear. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothes.'" So takeaway: don't let life's necessities consume you. Simplify by trusting God's provisions. Proverbs 38:9. This verse speaks about keeping falsehood and lies far from me. Give me neither poverty nor riches, but give me my daily bread. Otherwise, I may have too much and disown you and say, who is the Lord? Or I may become poor and still so dishonor the name of the God or the name of my God. So that's not what we want to do. The takeaway here is pray for enough, but not excess, to maintain a humble, God-centered life. Simplicity avoids the pitfalls of wealth and poverty. Take a look at 2 Corinthians 11 and verse 3. But I am afraid that just as Eve was deceived by the serpent's cunnings, your mind may somehow be led astray from your sincere and pure devotion to Christ. The takeaway, maintain simplicity. And then also another takeaway, complexity can lead to spiritual distraction. We have enough of that today. Matthew 11, verses 29-30. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Jesus offers a simple, restful life. Simplify by following his examples and be humble and gentle. Psalms 23:1. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Trust in God's leading your life and keeping it free from want. Simplicity means recognizing that God's providence is enough. It's all we need. Proverbs 13:7. One person pretends to be rich, yet he has nothing. And then another pretends to be poor, yet he has great wealth. True wealth is about not just the appearance of accumulating things, but about an inner richness. Simplifying by valuing genuine substances over show. Ecclesiastes 6:9. Better what the eye sees than the roving of the appetite. This too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Enjoy what you have is the takeaway, rather than consistently seeking more. Simplicity is contentment with this present. It's being content right now. 1 Corinthians 7:31. Those who use the things of this world as if not engrossed in them, for this world in its present form is passing away. So the takeaway, use worldly things without becoming attached to them. Simplify by living with ever-passing moment. Luke 13:11. John answered, anyone who has 2 shirts should share with the one who has none. And anyone who has food should do the same. The takeaway, possessions beyond basic needs should be shared. Simplicity involves generosity. Acts 2:44-45. All the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. That's Acts 2:44-45. So the takeaway, community and sharing can lead to a simpler life. Simplifying communal living and mutual support. 1 Peter 3:4. Your beauty should not come from adornment, such as elaborate hairstyle and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of the inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. Takeaway, true beauty is internal. Simplify by valuing character over appearance. Matthew 5:3. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Takeaway, spiritual humility leads to divine reward. Simplicity in spirit opens the door to God's kingdom. Proverbs 16:9. Better to be lowly in spirit along with the oppressed than to share plunder with the proud. Takeaway, humility and simplicity are more valuable than pride gained through ungodly ways. So choose a humble path. Luke 14:33. In the same way, those of you who do not give up everything you have cannot be my disciples. Takeaway: discipleship might require letting go of possessions. Simplify by willing to sacrifice for faith. And then Mark 4:19. But the worries of this life, the deceitfulness of wealth, and the desires for other things come in and choke the word, making it unfruitful. Takeaway: too much focus on materialness, concerns of this world stifle our spiritual growth, and simplify this by nurturing our faith. 1 John 2:15-17. Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, comes not from the Father, but from the world. The world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever. Take away worldly attachment distracts from eternal life. Simplify by focusing on God's will over worldly desires. Colossians 3:2. Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things. Keep your focus on spiritual matters. Simplify life, and this will help. So it prioritizes eternal over what's temporary. Psalms 119:37. Turn my eyes away from worthless things. Preserve my life according to your word. Proverbs 11:28. Those who trust in their riches will fall. The righteous will thrive like a green leaf. Security and wealth is fleeting. Simplify by finding security in righteousness. Ecclesiastes 4:6. Better one handful with tranquility than two handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Takeaway: a peaceful, simple life is preferable to a life of constant striving. 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. The takeaway: love simplifies life by focusing on what truly matters. And the last verse for today is Philippians 3:7-8. But whoever were gains to me, I now consider loss for the sake of Christ. But as more, I consider everything a loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus, my Lord, for whose sake I have lost all things. I consider them garbage that I may gain Christ. All worldly gains are insignificant compared to knowing Christ, which is going to be eternal. I think that's the message we're supposed to get. And prioritize spiritual over material, contentment with what we have, living with humility and generosity and love, and focusing on eternal values instead of temporary pleasures or possessions. Trusting in God's provisions rather than accumulating all kinds of stuff for security. Let's see if I've got any messages here. Okay. I hope that blesses you guys. I'll see you in the next video.